couples do. And it was real good duty there. We were there for 6 months. I went from West Palm Beach after getting married and so forth, and I went to South Carolina. What's the name of the place? Cherry Point. Found a old farmhouse not too far from, well, it was in town, just on the outskirts of town. The town is not very big, but and we got there's a one-room apartment, had linoleum on the floor, you know, and it was clean and everything. It was for heating. They had a tin stove, and down in the back there were logs that you went out and cut the logs and put them in the stove and light them up and so forth. It was run by a gal, and she was in her 70s, and she was very nice, real spry, and took care of the whole. There was, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 other rooms that she let out for the military. And this was in December, because it was Christmas time and everything. Mom got a job, and it was right near town. It was walking distance where she got a job in Penny's, as a sales clerk for Christmas time. Yeah. And I've forgotten how long I was there. I wasn't there that long, but it was there over Christmas time. We had our first Christmas together there, and Mom bought a little tree, and she brought some the Christmas fittings and so on, and decorated it up and so on, and we exchanged gifts, and I went from there down to Fort Worth, Texas, and I found this place on the outskirts of Fort Worth, Adams Street, and it was a regular nice big house, and it had upstairs, and the upstairs they were renting out, and were made into, had a living room and that kitchen, and you shared the bathroom, and there were you shared the living room and so forth with the other couple. Now, and Mom, after we cleaned everything up and so on, Mom got a job quite a ways on the outskirts of town. She had to take the bus all the time to, it was something to do with agriculture. She had to make up these, use the typewriter and so forth, messages, letters that were given by her boss of what this type of soil is, or what type of corn this is, and where it grows best, and so on. And she typed those up and sent them out. And then there was a place where she worked where they had clothing that was sent in from different parts of the country for those that needed clothes, and she would send them out and so forth. And after a while, she left that one, and she got a job with the U.S. Treasury Department in Fort Worth, doing secretarial work and typing and so forth. It was a better job. It was closer to where we lived and so on. And we shipped out and got up to San Francisco, and they canceled their orders for going overseas. In the meantime, Mom is still down in Fort Worth, Texas. She packed up all this other stuff and had and put it in storage down there, and got the plane ticket. And the plane, they send a car down to pick you up and take you back. Of course, she was pregnant at the time, and and the war was over, so they shipped us down to Miramar, and of course, Miramar was filled with people waiting to get out, and they had 1 million people there because that's the discharge place. We stayed with Grandma and Grandpa Burke in Ferndale Road for quite a period of time. I don't know whether about a year or what. And there was Grandpa Burke, Grandma Burke, Grandma Goldie, Grandpa Goldie, my Mom and me and the baby, and it was a full house, you know. And there got to be difficulties with June and Grandma Burke, because Joanne was just growing up there. She was in her first year, and June had different ideas. June and I had different ideas than what Grandma Burke had regarding Joanne. Things got pretty yucky, and was staying there with Grandma Burke and the whole gang. And we looked to see if we could buy a house, because the veterans could get mortgages at a veteran rate, cheap rate. Mom called up a number of real estate agents, and she got a call from the agent that she'd been talking to, that this place had just opened up. It was $9,000 for the house. It was a 2-story house with a walk-in attic, and a separate garage, and nice area for you planting vegetables and so forth. And in the back of the house, the yard, went up into a hill with long grass and trees and bushes and all that kind of stuff. And then it was a dead end on that, and we were next to the last house on the dead end. And it was nice moving, but we appreciated staying with Mom and Grandma Goldie and all that. But it was nice being by ourselves. It was difficulty finding housing, and it was difficulty finding jobs. And at that time, television came out in the World's Fair when we were living in Long Island. And these were just big, complicated things, sets with vacuum tubes and so forth. They were big, huge things that sat on the floor. They had sold these sets at, what was it, 1939, I think the World's Fair was on, and that's when they first sold them. And we went over because we lived near the World's Fair when we lived in Long Island, so we got over there. So they were setting up a shop to take care of the sets that were already bought from the World's Fair, plus the ones that were going to be developed. Well, they sent technicians out from the main office from Camden, and they would cover all the sets that were sold from New England up and down to Washington you see, I hired on in Kearney, New Jersey. The new sets started to come out. They're table model sets, and they had a 7-inch one, and they had a 10-inch one. And when they came out, they all had to have antennas, all up on the roof. Anyway, I transferred into doing regular service work, going out on service calls and doing that from there. Okay, that's all with RCA, I think. Joanne, she was a doll. The first one's always a doll. No, he was real good. She never gave us any trouble, any problem. We started making good money, good at that time, and I always get Mom almost all the time. Would get her something to do with electric moving, you know. We eventually got a Thor washer dryer, and it was on legs with wheels on it, and on the legs, and it had a tub like this here, like that, 2 tubs, and it washed over here and rinsed, and you put it in the other, and the thing would spin around and dry it halfway. It wouldn't get it all the way, but at least she didn't have to go downstairs and go all the way up the. Got that. In fact, almost everything that when it came her birthday or anniversary or whatever, it was some kind of appliance that I got. Yeah, it's a waffle iron. I remember we got the waffle iron, and that you had the waffle iron, and you take the you know, you come down like here. Okay, you take the waffle thing off, and you put the flat ones in. You use it for toasters. You make toaster sandwiches.
And Craig was your first son.
Yeah, and he was he was an individual, and he remained an individual till when he left this sphere. Yeah, he was all boy. He was. Yeah, oh boy. Gary was fun. He had no mind of his own. Still does. Dean was. Did we have Dean in Livingston?
I don't know.
I think so. He was very quick and very smart. He would hide something. He would hide all the time too, and he wouldn't know where he'd be real quiet, you know. What else did he have with the individual? Because he was so tiny, you know. He was real tiny. And Keith was quiet, and he was big. He was bigger than Dean considerably. But after a while, they almost were like twins, you know. But I remember, who was it? Yeah, they were going to East Hanover School, and remember, yeah, Dean was there. And they were on the baseball team, and I remember Dean was quite surprised because Keith could catch behind the batter. Could catch, you know. He didn't think Keith was. That was when you know, just in grade school.